This video is going to focus on getting you a solo 100k Pinnacle reward done on Legend difficulty. You can also do this on Master. I have done a Master run and I will do another Master run for a video later on throughout the week. But I'll focus on the Legend first because more people are around this level. 1570s. Not many people are around 1590s. Some are, but the average player base is like 1570s mid, right? If you to average it out. So there's going to be more people want to do this one over the Master as of week 2. So the modifiers are Empath, Champions, Barrier, and Unstoppable, Match Game, Shields, Avoid, and Arc. We have Combat Acceleration, which is a very interesting mod I'll talk about in the run. It is daily though. Next reset, this won't be up, it'll be something else. And then Acute Void Burn, so we've got to know that. This build is obviously one on Warlock, Well of Radiance, Empower and Rift, Insignia Snap, the new one, Fusion Grenades, Icarus Dash, Touch of Flame aspect. Fragments are Wonder, Ember of Solace, Blistering, and Ashes. That's with the Starfire Protocol, exotic chest piece, the Fusion Grenade build. Weapons are the exotic Pulse Rifle Outbreak Perfected, the Void Enigma Glaive. You can use any glaive you want, to be honest, but I just use this one. And then Corrective Measure, a Void LMG. I highly recommend Void weapons in this. As for our armor mod, so the helmet has Ashes to Assets, increased super on grenade kills, LMG, Ammo Finder, Anti-Barrier Pulse Rifle, Unstoppable Glaive, double resistance, the seasonal mod, because it's got solar and void in it, so it's covering void. Elemental Ordnance is on there. Font of Wisdom, so increased intellect when we pick up a solar well from a solar grenade kill. LMG Scavenger, Classy Restoration, and the solar mod here. The Classy Restoration is something you should be using pretty much all the time. When you're on a solar class, be using this all the time. It's too good to pass up. And this mod here, there's a lot of increased radius, but it has a higher chance of killing you. So there's a lot of self-inflicted damage from this mod. You got to be careful and play. When you're playing with it, you got to be playing from a distance. I recommend high stats in Resilience, Recovery, and Discipline. Don't really spec for any other mods. That's the setup I'm using. So as we start, we'll make our way to the entrance. Obviously, just summon our Sparrow, make it a little bit quicker. You are timed a little bit on these Legend runs as opposed to Master. On Master, you don't need to rush as much. On Legend, you do a little bit more. However, with some scoring, the scoring on this has changed to what it used to be. However, there's infinite adds anyways, so the 100k has never been too bad on this. You can actually get the 100k in a hero match made Nightfall, so if you want to do that, that's fine. You can just go ahead and do that, because I know someone's going to mention it. There's a couple of arc shields, but our grenade's going to take care of them and outbreak and stuff. And if not, I can use my LMG. Don't spec for arc, because there's only arc at this very beginning. After that, no more arc. Any Minotaurs rush, just use your LMG or your glaive. Pretty much two-shot them with the glaive. But yeah, you don't need to spec for DPS, because the build is DPS. You'll see at the boss fight how crazy it is. They've made well amazing now. Who would have thought that they've actually buffed it? We were all expecting them to nerf well, and it's actually buffed. You get more resistance now when you stand in a well than you did. There's no overshield, but you don't need that. You don't need overshield, because generally overshields are weak in Destiny anyway. So yeah, well, Dawnblade's down, which is a big thing, because I used to love my Dawn Chorus setup. I'm sure people know with the Phoenix Dive, you could Phoenix Dive unlimited. Now you've got to pick between Phoenix Dive and Rifts. It's a bad move with the Dawnblade thing. And the chaining effect on Dawnblade isn't what it was. Because now they had to get some standardized fragments to suit all classes sort of thing. You know, the Titan and the Hunter. So they've standardized all the solar, and it's ended up being Dawnblade worse off, but everything else is pretty much better. Blade Barrage especially. So you'll see I'm going to spam my Rift a lot, because when I stand in an Empower and Rift, I get grenade energy back. Also, Combat Acceleration helps out a little bit. We're getting some more energy, but trust me, Combat Acceleration isn't the reason why I'm getting so many nades. It's because I'm standing in the Rifts, right, and spamming. That counts for you well, of course, as well, for people who might not know that. I know most people do. So yeah, anytime you've got a rift up, but you'll get your rift back on grenade kill. So that's the loop, the combat loop of Starfire, is that you get grenade energy standing when you do damage when you're standing in a power rift or a well, and then when you get a kill, you get your rift back immediately. This season it's extremely, I mean this was always the case, but it's since the reworks and stuff, it's really important now. It means you can use add clear weapons and you don't have to spec in for damage because your setup is going to basically do the damage for you. So it's a different type of DPS, and I love that it's a different type of damage. I really do. So demolitionist weapons, style weapons, and now your friend this season. So that's some like salvo or any other demo weapon you can think of or that you have. So for this plate, start with a rift. Start with your Empower Rift and just spam machine gun ammo. Your goal is just to capture this plate before it goes. Before a dog or an ad gets on the plate and stops it from being captured. Because I haven't tested this because they change things all the time, but you used to get unlimited unstoppables in this Nightfall. If you didn't capture the plate, people will know this on GM difficulty. If you didn't capture the plate, you just keep getting unstoppables over and over. I think you still can. I haven't tested that though, but they have actually done some inner work and changes to Insight. Because it wasn't a GM last season. So you don't notice until it comes up again. Because this is going to be, it's within the GM rotation this season. So they've done a couple of tweaks that's going to really change it on GM a little bit at the boss. And the spawns and stuff. I don't know why they keep changing stuff over and over. So this little room here, the ads obviously spawn out the little portals, then they group up to middle. So on the outskirts is basically your safer zone, and the ads will then jump to middle like you can see. So when I activate my Empower Rift, I have unlimited health regen sort of thing for 10 seconds. So even if I'm not standing in the rift, I'll still get it. So it's a healing rift and an empowering rift in one. But not only that, I don't even have to stand in that rift. Obviously, you're better off standing in the rift because you'll get more grenade energy when you do. But you can use it as like a get out of jail free card. You know, you're almost dead, just pop your rift. You can easily get a rift back if you need to sort of move somewhere else. Notice I shot the boss there. You shoot the boss to then start the next wave. Then middle will be unstoppable. I'm just going to use the glaive on him. Just glaive him to death, pretty easy. I'll even pop a well here just to sort of speed the whole thing up. So this run's meant to be sort of fully optimized. It was my first legend run, to be honest. I'd done a master run before this, and then I was wondering how much damage I could do in the legend at the boss and stuff. And it's 100k. It's more user friendly because it's a lower power, so pretty much anyone can get this. So we'll just clear any ads, use our well just for your sort of ad clearing stuff. We're halfway to our next. So this is why I don't spec for intellect. You saw I've just used my well and I have half energy back and I'm not even using Phoenix Protocol. You really don't need to rock that high intellect. Even if you're doing like a Blade Barrage setup, you don't need it. In solo play, I guess, because I always talk in terms of solo play because I'm not uploading a lot of team stuff, you know. So it's kind of like your bullets give you super energy when you hit an ad. Your super bar will go up. You'll see that. So it's a case of I'm gonna get my super anyways when I need them. So that's when you see, this is where you start speccing in for resilience. Resilience has been changed massively to the fact it's the most important stat in the game now, and when you do GMs, you're going to find Grandmasters easier now. I've predicted Grandmasters this season. Not only are they easy as in the ones that they've chosen this season because they're all Cabal based, so they're easy. You know, Arms Dealer, Inside Terminus, they're not too bad GMs. You're going to find that you're going to be a lot more tanky in GMs because of resilience, providing you rock 100% resilience. Providing that you do that, then you're going to find them a lot. And with the right resistances, GMs will be more consistent to play and it'll be better. They're going to be easier, but they'll be a bit more fun, I think, in my opinion. Because dying to something that you just didn't see coming at all, and you had no plan B of getting out, isn't a fun thing, right? If there's always a way of getting out of it, you know, then that's fine. But if you know, there should be a get out of free card with it, and this high resilience thing, what they've changed, is going to be making the GMs more consistent. This Unstoppable went to the back of the map. I'll just finish him off. That then, when you kill the Unstoppable, that then spawns in a barrier at the back of the map. So that's how this works. Obviously, it's not too much of a problem because you can sort of stick with the adds and fight them. Barrier's pushing up. That's why I killed the Unstoppable last, because when you kill the Unstoppable, then you get the barrier. I cleared out the adds first, left the Unstoppable last. That's why I done that. We'll pop a well here. Why not? Got our well Baptist to use. It's important you don't skip any adds, because this room you can skip quite a lot. Try not to do that, because you do want the score. There is an infinite wave of adds at the boss, so I guess it doesn't matter that much, but I'd rather get all my points now in the 20-minute mark, because obviously after 20 minutes it halves, so you may as well just get all the points you need now and then just beat the boss. This is a good position for this barrier here that people might have problems with. These nades are doing insane. You can see just how much damage they're doing to champions, and they do. The damage you see here, I'm doing very similar damage on Master, because obviously I've done a Master run before this, so this build will work for Master the same 1590. It'll work just as good. Just the only thing with Master, there's more champions, of course. But as I said, you can still attain the 100k. I was thinking there was a champion there. There generally is on Master, obviously not on this. So we'll dunk the orb. There'll be some Vex come out, Vex shield. Try and make sure that you've got a healthy amount of machine gun ammo when you go into the boss, because that's where you want to actually start kind of using the machine gun quite a bit, which I haven't used it much yet. But that's what makes the machine gun so good for the plates, capturing the plates. Not only that, they buffed machine guns, so machine guns feel actually good to use on a boss. They feel good for ad clear, so they're probably in the right spot that they should be right now. Maybe an extra bit of damage to the bosses, just a little bit, because it was 20% for bosses, 40% for ads or whatever. But I would have liked just maybe it was just 40% for bosses. And I know it would mean that people would start using more machine guns like they used to, but that's the idea of it. But I do think a lot of people will still start using machine guns now with the buff. We'll just glaive all these ads for time. Just one-shot them all. Now here's the thing, you can actually game score. So I shot that Hydra with Outbreak, because if his shield is in the way, then Outbreak will shoot through the shield, because it's piercing rounds, because it's barrier pulse this season. Which luckily it was barrier pulse, because they disabled barrier sidearm last week. And not to mention, barrier sidearm's terrible. It's only good on certain sidearms and stuff. But, you know, you're going to be relying on barrier pulse for Nightfalls. That's what's going to end up happening if you're not using Arbalist or whatever. So for the first plate, we're not going to use well. You don't need it. We're just going to use a Rift. And we're going to use a bit of machine gun ammo, left and right, clearing the ads before they get here. Because if you don't clear them out in time, you'll get another wave and another wave. So you want to try and get that initial wave of ads done, then the plate's captured, and then you're good. Then I'll do a well up here, because this is where I do my damage from. The reason being is because the boss does his void attack. Well, he can't really hit us from here. So not only that, any ads can't really hit us, only their nades. So I can do all my damage. So I'm just going to use Outbreak. The Outbreak, with its tick damage and stuff, is going to count towards nade energy. So it's a decent pairing with this. Not only that, I could have used machine gun. I'll do it later on, I think, on the boss. But I just keep spamming my nade and Outbreak. Once the well's out, then you need to step off that block and then clear up any dogs or any ads that are going to push you. The Legionnaires won't. It's just the dogs and the cleavers that push to the back of this map. This is where you play. You never go in middle unless you're going to pop a well on the boss or something. So we'll pop a Rift first, and then we can get the fusion grenade chain going. Try not to deplete all your nades and then you haven't got a rift, because then you got to wait for your rift again. So always make sure you rift then nade, and that way you can keep your fusion nade chain on. Right now I'm farming super, because after this obviously there's going to be 3 plates to cap. I may use a well on the first plate, I may not, I'll just see. I think I end up using a well. But your goal, before you get that boss immune, actually no. Actually you don't need to do that, not on this difficulty. So I'll just make the boss immune and then right on the plate. On Master and GM you will need to well a plate. I don't end up well on this plate, I don't believe. So they've delayed the amount of time that it takes the adds to spawn. But you do now get unlimited cleavers and dogs. Whereas it was like that, then they changed it. Now it is unlimited. They're on a timer. I've tested this. They're on a timer. So you will keep getting the cleavers and the dogs. All the time, constant. That's just very important to know. Because you could manipulate the adds and just keep so many adds alive. I don't think that's the case now. They just spawn up anyway. So you've got to be careful. We'll weld the second plate. Cleared out all the adds. We'll go for the third cap because there's not many adds alive. As I said, they're sort of on a timer. So if you're ahead of the ad spawn, you can go for the next plate. Hit these, another next set of gladiators. We use our power and rift. Any nades to sort of kill them before they get on here, because empath is on, so you take increased damage from melee, of course, so you don't want them coming on the circle. The key is just to get that capture. So if it means using a lot of LMG, it means it. That's what you've got the machine gun on for, is to defend plates. It's the best weapon in the game to do that. So that's why we had it on. So cleavers will stop now. Cleavers and dogs. Once you get the wave that's there, if there is a wave, then they will stop spawning. The spawn will switch to Legionnaires and the Void Backpacks. They will just keep spawning up. But they won't be infinite. It'll be based on what damage you do to the boss. But obviously it won't matter so much, because we're just going to use a well and do damage with our nades. So you just see how much damage we do here with this. It'll also clear out any adds that are in middle, which they more than likely will be, because they're going to hug the boss. That's generally what they do. Some might not, but you can see obviously with well, with its resistance, you can tank all this damage, no problem. Boss is pretty weak. When well runs out though, we'll jump off. We've literally got our super back, so this is so good, because it's almost like having Phoenix on. So I've got like 3/4 of my super already. So now it's just a case of clear out some more adds and get another well. I'm actually going to use an Empowering Rift here, because I can survive. I've got that restoration ×2 for that 10 seconds. So I'm infinite. I can't really be damaged so much, you know, for that 10 seconds. Now we get well, so now we'll just finish the boss off. So as you can see, this is a really easy strat to get the boss. You don't have to clear out all the ads, because I've got over the 100k mark now, so there will be no point in doing that. This week the strike weapon is D.F.A, which is a very old hand cannon. But anyways, that was the 100k Pinnacle. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.
One data artifact here, labeled Oxa, and it's seriously corrupted. Metadata says it was last accessed by an Otzot centuries ago.